Welcome to another discussion video on the subject Globalization and Public Administration. We are now in Unit 3, which is about other facilitators of globalization. So sit back and relax as we go over the topic. This is our discussion flow, and here are the key concepts covered: globalization in action and facilitators of globalization, namely the International Monetary Fund, World Bank, and the World Trade Organization. We begin with globalization in action. In the past 50 years, there have been a period of growing economic and political freedom and rising prosperity. Global per capita income has more than tripled, and most of the world has experienced a major improvement in life expectancy. However, other countries, such as those in sub-Saharan Africa, did not do so well. Hence, global income disparity has increased and poverty is a major issue. Due to this, international organizations made it a point to emphasize and facilitate the growth and development of countries that are left behind. First of which is the International Monetary Fund, or the IMF. It was created in 1944 to help restore and sustain the benefits of global integration by promoting international economic cooperation. It focuses on the functioning of the international monetary system and on promoting sound macroeconomic policies as precondition for sustained economic growth. And it recognizes and values the role of civil society organizations for collective action and building grassroots support. IMF in action. Here are some of the projects and programs of the IMF. First, we have Ebola virus outbreak in West Africa. The IMF lent money to the governments of West Africa to help curb the virus and recover from it. Another is the crackdown of illegal diamond trade in Africa. In 2010, IMF funded technical assistance in the crackdown of illegal diamond trade through providing financial, regulatory, and technical oversight. And then we have special series on COVID-19. The IMF developed and published a set of guidelines for countries to follow in response to COVID-19, such as on the appropriate health expenditures and design of programs to the vulnerable. Next is the World Bank. Just like the IMF, it was created in 1944 to help restore and sustain the benefits of global integration by promoting international economic cooperation. The World Bank concentrates on long-term investment projects, institution building, and on social, environmental, and poverty issues. And it offers developmental assistance to middle-income and low-income countries. The World Bank in action. Here are some of the projects and programs of the World Bank. First, we have the construction of a mega dam in Congo. The World Bank funded the construction of a mega dam in Congo as the main source of hydroelectric power. And then we have the Philippine Rural Development Project. It is a World Bank funded project that aims to increase rural incomes and enhance farm and fishery productivity in the targeted areas in the country. And lastly, Philippines COVID-19 Emergency Response Project. The World Bank funded the country's COVID-19 response project through loans to strengthen the Philippines' capacity to prevent, detect, and respond to the threat posed by the virus. And then we have the World Trade Organization. It is the only global international organization dealing with the rules of trade between nations. Its goal is to ensure that the trade flows as smoothly, predictably, and freely as possible. And it operates a global system of trade rules. It acts as a forum for negotiating trade agreements It settles trade disputes between its members and it supports the need of developing countries. The WTO in action. Here are some of the initiatives and programs of the WTO. First is lowering barriers and increasing trade opportunities. The WTO initiatives led to increases in annual trade growth of its new member countries. And then we have the Doha Development Agenda Global Trust Fund. A trust fund was pulled from member countries in order to have funds to finance technical assistance plans of member countries. And then we have dedicated page for COVID-19. The WTO dedicated a page on its website pertaining to timely and accurate trade figures around the world amidst the pandemic to monitor the impact of the virus has had on exports and imports and how WTO activities have been affected by the pandemic. So that's the end of the discussion. We now turn to activity number 1. You are to research on specific projects that the other facilitators of globalization has initiated in order to address global issues relative to their respective roles in globalization. So you are to follow the format given. After finishing activity number 1, proceed to activity number 2. So you have to make an essay. As a local resident in your area, can you see the effects of the works of these facilitators of globalization? Support your answer. Congratulations! You have finished Unit 3. Should you have any questions, you can contact me through the following outlets. I hope that you have learned a lot as we go along our module. So sit back and relax, and I'll see you in the next discussion video. God bless.